What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. You can see that we finally had the displacement I was looking for this week to the downside. We didn't quite trade above the highs, the Tuesday highs, as I anticipated, but nonetheless we got that large displacement to the downside. That will hopefully help us frame setups for the rest of the week. Now obviously we had CPI followed by FOMC today, so a lot of volatility. I hope everybody stayed safe. And yeah, what you'll find is that we did trade very deeply, not only into the weekly bullish order block that I drew our attention to, but you can see we completely ran through that, disrespecting pretty much all of it, and then reaching down into this daily bullish order block. So very aggressive nonetheless. Now that we're coming off this daily bullish order block, I will be looking for a 4-hour PD array to then key off. So yeah, let's go straight down to the 4-hour and start having a look at price. So you'll see how we came down into that daily bullish order block, had a strong reaction with FOMC, I believe, trading on higher. This is that Sunday opening price. It would be nice to see if price can trickle its way up there. Generally speaking, I do want to continue to see down close candles, meaning that moving into tomorrow, I'd like to see a rally in the morning and then continue downwards price action. We do have relative equal lows resting below here, very nice. So I do have my eyes set on these to get taken, but before that gets taken, I do want to see some kind of rally deeper into this massive 4-hour fair value gap that we have right here. I'll just show you that right now. So we have this fair value gap, and remember, this is that Sunday opening. Now if we go to the hourly, you can see our price delivered at 8:30, absolutely crazy, and then we just kind of retraced right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw continued consolidation, potentially whip up back to this Sunday price. Again, if we do, I want to see it act as resistance. And then after that, I'll be looking for sell side targets such as these relative equal lows to get taken. So pretty simple. Like I said, if you've been watching my videos this week, you know I've been waiting for displacement to the downside, and now we finally have that. So now we can start thinking about framing our setups and such. So it is nice to see. Again, we didn't quite run out those buy stops like I anticipated. That's completely fine. CPI traded lower. I do believe FOMC is about here. Yep, traded up higher, touching the inside of that weekly bullish order block. Very interesting that is. So any kind of premium, so once we do trade above this swing high that's been created in the new day, I'd expect to look for shorts on dollar with longs on the pairs. Now don't get me wrong, we do still have high impact news for the rest of the week. It would be nice if this Tuesday is the high, because remember, overall I am bearish on dollar. Like, I do want a down close week, so this is all going to plan in terms of Tuesday creating the high, and then we see the low get created on Thursday or Friday. So far as this week is going, it's going ideally, and so I'm happy to remain bearish in that sense. And like I said, if we do reach up to here, I want to see this provide resistance. Now let's just quickly drop down to the 15-minute just to get a better look at price. And you can see we have this massive range. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if price tried to fill that before turning around and seeking even lower prices. And remember, we have some beautiful relative equal lows down here to get traded to. So I wouldn't worry too much about these highs now. I do want to kind of just accept that Tuesday's the high. Again, very classic if it is, and we can study that in the future. But generally speaking, I do want to see lower dollar moving into Wednesday. So you'll see that how we traded higher right here as well. So we had a large expansion running out these stops, pull back into a fair value gap, which is also lined up with a breaker. So this would have been a beautiful long on dollar or shorts on the pairs. And then in terms of targeting, the weekly bullish order block wouldn't have been a target for me, but this range in general, you know, if this is a change in state of delivery right here, I'll show you now. So that means that we should be seeking higher prices, and obviously we have this massive range to fill, which is another reason I'd like to think that price could reach into this premium. But again, very low probability. This week's, you know, it's been moving a bit mad, especially with the way that pound and euro were behaving, so we do need to keep that in very high consideration. But overall, yeah, I'd like to see another down close day and see us start to work deeper towards this bullish order block that we've just keyed off, and potentially these relative equal lows ideally. Now the only thing that's putting me off that kind of bias is the fact that if the way that price moves, they want to trick traders, and anyone that saw this move downwards is probably going to start going short now and putting their stops above here. So it's very well they may want to return back up there and take these buy stops. Now don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean they're going to do it this week, next week, or even this month or next month, but that's just something to take into consideration, something we need to be wary of. But generally speaking, I'd like to see a continued downwards price action because these relative equal lows are looking too nice. We have clear displacement. Remember, I was waiting for displacement. So now we can start thinking about potential setups to form. I'm comfortable trading tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. Now that FOMC and CPI are out the way, delivery should be a little bit more cleaner, and also quite large range as well. So there should be a lot of profitability in this throughout this week. So yeah, that's going to be everything on dollar. Before I move on to pound, I do want to remind you guys to join the mailing list. The link is in the description. And yeah, let's now head over to GBP USD. So we will go on the daily right here. You can see how price traded aggressively higher, running out these stops, obviously with FOMC and whatnot. We didn't even trade into this range's wick. That's how bullish we were. We traded into this day's wick. Very interesting. And what you'll find is that we did trade to the just past the 50% level off that. So if we look at that, you can see we just wick past that, and then price traded on higher, running out that Tuesday high right here, and then of course into this trading range and wicking right up into this rejection block level. So this is a rejection block level up here, and you can see how price has responded to that, obviously with rejection. We do now have an implied fair value gap as well down here. We'll make this black. And why is it implied? Because we have delivery on the downside. We've now closed on the upside. So if price does manage to reach down into this premium discount, it should be able to find support. But let's go down to the 4 hours, see what we can find. You can see how we hit that rejection block, large rejection, pulling lower. But again, I do want to see higher dollar. I do want to see lower dollar. I do want to see higher pound. So I'm happy to find, again, and anticipate some kind of potential reversal. On the 4 hour, we can see a bigger inversion fair value gap from this low to this high. Why? Because we delivered on the downside and now we've closed on the upside. So as price comes back into this range, I'll be looking very carefully to see can it provide support, and that could help us form potential setups in the new day to then trade on higher. So I'm going to be looking at this range moving into the new day, into that London session, and we have a bullish order block right here. I want to see if it's sensitive or not. Ideally it is, and that means I can then target this Wednesday high as we move into Thursday and Friday. If you've been watching my videos this week as well, you will know that I was happy to see how these stops, I'll just show you, these stops were cleared. Right here, this is very interesting, came back down, and these stops, these were the stops I was talking about, the marking's still there. The fact that we took out these stops right here, this is how I was comfortable that pound was going to trade higher. Don't get me wrong, I did want to see pound dip lower into this range, and it didn't. We just saw continued support. However, I was confident that we were going to trade on higher purely because of this kind of price action right here. And I will talk more on that through my email content, so make sure to join the mailing list for that. But yeah, very interesting, especially if you've been following along this week. And yeah, pretty much from now on, from Thursday and Friday, I am going to be actively trading. Now that FOMC is out the way, and this is how I approach weeks like this. When we have high impact news like CPI and interest rates or non-farm payroll, I wait, and then once it's delivered, I'm like, okay, now we can frame, because what's this? This is clear displacement. Yes, we're pulling back in the range, but as soon as we get a reversal in a place we anticipate a reversal, which is an inversion fair value gap currently, if we get a reversal out of that, I'm happy to go long and then target those highs. So that's how I'm looking at price. And in terms of setups and such, make sure to join the Discord and the mailing list for to see how I will be approaching tomorrow and Friday. So we're going to finish up on euro. This is a very quick video. I'm absolutely shattered, guys. Let's go on the daily real quick. And if you haven't watched yesterday's video, definitely check it out. So here's that fair value gap I targeted. I wanted to see price trade to. You can see we traded through it with the news, of course. This is what I mean, volatility. Being able to anticipate that we trade all the way up here in one day, it's just not doable. It's not realistic. So we do need to take that into consideration, not be too hard on ourselves. Again, if you watched yesterday's video, I did want to see if price could duck one more time into this. It didn't. Now, the fact that price didn't duck one more time into that Tuesday low right here, and the fact that dollar didn't trade any higher one more time into that Tuesday high, the fact that price never done that only shows more weakness to me. It only says to me, okay, well, it didn't do it. It can't. That means it can't, doesn't want to. So it's likely going to leave that for a while. So that, if anything, adds confluence. Now this range, which was my original target for buy side, is going to act as an inversion fair value gap. So what we're going to look at, the midpoint price should respect that as it pulls back inside of that, and then we will then look for setups within that, and then I'll be targeting that Wednesday high up here for potential buy stops. Now, don't get me wrong, if this somehow gives way, the inversion fair value gap, if it gives way and we trade below it, I'd be bearish again, and we simply trade lower. It's as simple as that. So this is what I'm watching. And remember, Thursday and Friday I'm actually trading, so it's a lot more, because of the probability at this point, I'm a lot more interested in the charts now. We have a breaker right here, low, high, lower low, clear displacement. So I'm watching this candle very nicely. So I don't mind, what I'm saying is that I don't mind price dipping down through the inversion fair value gap, but on a daily basis I don't want to see it close below it. It can wick through it, do what it wants, because the wicks do the damage. So I'm happy for us to trade all the way down here tomorrow and then potentially reverse. But ideally the daily doesn't close on it, because that would mean something completely different. So again, I'm going to be watching, okay, what time do we get down here and how is price responding accordingly. Let's go to the 1 hour, just get a better look at price. Again, here's that breaker. You can see how we turned around. Displacement, this is just retracement back inside the internal range. And what's it doing? I'll be looking for it to fill this imbalance and then leave it, and then that's when we can start thinking about these relative equal highs, assuming euro does want to trade on higher, in line with dollar potentially trading on lower. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. If you've been watching me a lot recently, you hopefully starting to see how I frame my weeks and how I approach things, and how it's as simple: if this happens, then this happens, if and when, etc. So if you're doing the same, good on you, because it really does allow you to navigate and feel more comfortable and confident in your trading. So that's going to be everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash subscribe, drop a like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.